Good morning, everyone. My name is Neville Glanville from Bentley Systems. I'm going to talk about some of our technologies which Randall will be showing over at the bin bar later. But I just want to put them into the context of the theme of today's workshop in terms of pre-construction planning. And John mentioned the role of the design manager. So the activity of design review is really quite important in connecting the design team with the contractor. And I'm also going to talk about the information. John mentioned that the I in BIM is all about the information and how that information is accessed and how that information is managed. So obviously we're all familiar with the term BIM, Building Information Modeling. From our perspective, that's a little bit confusing at times. It's not just about buildings. It's about information modeling in any sort of context, whether that's a building, whether it's infrastructure, road, rail, bridge, tunnels, and so on. So, an important aspect of BIM is the information we're gathering, and the information exists in many, many different forms, and it still exists in paper form. It's the ability to collate and distribute and manage that information is really quite important. And in the digital age, the ability to make that information available to anyone, anywhere in the world is really quite key. So mobility of information, so we regard BIM as building information mobility, is the direction this industry very definitely is heading in. So if we think about a project consists of many, many forms of information. There's mention of point clouds, the ability to laser scan an existing situation or traditional survey. We gather information from many, many different sources, and we need to collate and aggregate that information together, and we need to manage that information. So I'm just going to mention Projectwise as one of those tools. We've got the Projectwise setup here. There's a lot of talk about cloud technology. A setup we've got here is reaching off to Projectwise Online, which is on the cloud, how we can access information regardless of its form, whether it's paper information, PDF documents, email, design, 2D information, models, and such like, and how that information is structured through BS 1192, and how that information is disseminated, and from a design review activity, how we can access that information to coordinate the design information from various sources, the entire design team, and bring all that together from a design manager's perspective. It's that design review exercise in that pre-construction planning stage that's really quite important. So I'm going to introduce the concept of an I model. An I model is key from our point of view in terms of delivering information mobility. So let me put an I model in context. Think of an I model a bit like a PDF for BIM. So it's got the geometry and it's got the information, and we have the ability to navigate our way through that information very, very simply. So as Alan was mentioning earlier, there are many, many, typically on a project, it doesn't really matter what software tools are used to author the information. That's the choice of the individual design practitioners. So with the I model, we have the ability to bring that information together regardless of which application the architect or the structural engineer, the MEP engineers, the civil engineers are using, and whether that supports an I model directly or we can consume IFC. IFC is really quite fundamental in terms of interoperability. So we can bring all of that together to create an aggregated, create an aggregated I model. And from a design coordinator's perspective, or the design manager within a contractor, Bentley Navigator is our tool to allow that discipline to coordinate visually or push sections through the model so we can start to interrogate that model, or invoke an automated clash detection process. So we can extract dynamically from an I model the quantity information, connect that to a cost estimation system, so that process then becomes very dynamic as well. Similarly, as Joe was talking about earlier, the activity of clash detection and schedule simulation or construction simulation is really quite key, and that's what Bentley Navigator is about. It's about bringing all of that information together, regardless of what tools we use to create it in the first place, and perform clash detection, whether that's a physical clash or, as the image in the bottom left there, it's actually a visual clash, because the items are not physically touching. It's still an issue that has to be resolved in the model. Animate, cranes bringing in prefabricated items of structure, etc., into the building construction, and then link that to one of the project management tools, Asta Power Project, Primavera, whatever, and then simulate that sequence of construction. Now, one of the key things with iModels is that, as we've, 3 vendors here talking about a variety of applications, so with an iModel we can actually bring together, and this imaginary campus here is a series of building models from all of the software vendors that exist in the BIM context. And the ability to actually bring all of that together, encapsulate that in a single file, which we can then interrogate and review and share across the entire project team, is what an iModel is about. So I described an iModel as if it were a PDF for BIM. Well, wouldn't it be great if we can actually distribute the information in a PDF document? And we can do that. We can embed an iModel within a PDF document. We can send that to the client, and all the client needs is Adobe Acrobat Reader, nothing more. And they can view that model, they can interrogate that model, so they can look at the structure of it, they can look at visually checking issues, and it's all part of that collaboration process. And in terms of mobility, it wouldn't be relevant if we couldn't actually display that information on a tablet or even an iPhone type device. So this is a selection of the 3 relevant applications in the context of today's workshop. These are available on the Apple App Store. They're free of charge. Go get them. They're really great tools, and we'll be demonstrating these over at the BIM bar. So Projectwise Explorer, so we can actually synchronize and connect with our central Projectwise system and download the information that's relevant for a client meeting or a site meeting, take that information with us on our tablet device. We then have Bentley Navigator Mobile. We can then review that information interactively on site. We can capture additional information, photographs, videos, and then synchronize that back with Projectwise when we connect back online again. And then there's a specialist structural tool, a structural synchronizer viewing tool as well. That's what I wanted to talk about. If you want to see more of what I've just described, please come over with myself and Randall and my colleagues. Thank you.